So I'm going to be talking about introductions today. Maybe you're going to play a pop song or a jazz standard or a holiday song or happy birthday to you. You're going to need to set it up a little bit rather than launch right in. It kind of gets people in the mood of it. It helps them get a sort of preview of the style that you intend. And it also has an important function of setting the key in the ear, particularly if somebody's going to sing along. So maybe you're playing a Christmas sing-along and I'm trying to get people into singing the tune. The key identifier is the 5-7 chord. What I mean by that is that if I'm in the key of F major and I have F, G, A, B flat, C, that C is the 5th note of the scale. And if I put chords on each of those notes, the 1 chord would be an F, the 2 chord would be a G minor, and the 3 chord would be an A minor. All these roots just coming up. The 4th note of the scale is B flat, so B flat is the 4 chord, and then the 5 chord is the C chord in the key of F. The 5 chord is the 5th note of the scale with a chord built on it. Very often that chord has a 7th added to it, so we're looking at C, E, G, B flat. So that's called the key identifier for a variety of reasons. Without getting too deep into the theory, one of the reasons is that it's a unique chord. Out of all the chord qualities in diatonic chords, or the chords in a key, only one of them is a dominant 7, a major triad with a 7 on top. So if we add 7s to all those chords, only one of them has this quality. That's one of the reasons that it sets the key in the ear. Another reason is it has an awkward interval in it. The tritone, E and B flat, are in a C7 chord. And that's considered, pretty dissonant sound. But when it's in a chord, it tells you that something's about to happen. It has that sense of, something's about to happen. It has the feeling of riding on a horse and picking up the reins because I'm about to steer, or the doorbell ringing or something. It's like something's about to happen. So that means that the easiest introduction in the world on any song is to simply play the 5 chord of that key. So we just play a 5-7 chord. That's your simplest introduction. There's no excuse not to just throw an introduction in with it when it's that easy. Find your 5 chord. If I want to just play happy birthday to you and I want everybody to sing along, I play a C7 chord in root position. And happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. So again, that chord alone sets your ear. If I'm going to play, Santa Claus is coming to town, that's in C major. It's Christmas times. That's in C major. The 5 chord is a G7. Now you can hear how we're in a new key. It set our ear. So what have you? That's the simplest introduction. And most, but not all, introductions end on a 5-7 chord. So really the introduction is all about setting the tone and the pace and driving yourself towards that 5-7 chord. Alright, now we can get a little bit corny with this. What I mean by corny when I use that word is I mean simple songs. Simple, singable songs with easy chords. It's maybe not the best word in some cases. But I would say that happy birthday to you is kind of corny, right? It's corny in a good way. It means it's an old friend. It's simple, it's silly, and we can have a lot of fun with it. So since it's already a corny tune, kind of cheesy, whatever, it can be fun to make a cheesy introduction. And the one fun way to do that is to simply take that 5-7 chord and play it hand over hand, Liberace style. So if I play hand over hand C7 on happy birthday, instead of a single chord, I'm just going to go... Maybe you can see that on the piano. There's a couple little tricks with that, actually, to even make it more flashy. What I did here was just ran a C7 in the left hand, then the right, then the left, and then the right, and a little C on top. Happy birthday to you. So that can be kind of, it's, fun, corny. There's some tricks to make that a little bit more fun. We could do this. So that was all one hand. And then you're going to follow that up with the left hand. So in slow motion. But when you do that fast, I'm just ruining. So that could be kind of a fun way to get it. Just doing, I call that the Liberace lick, you know, because he's all flashy and running chords all around. If you don't know who Liberace is, probably you're a lot younger than I am. So I just said play it with a C7. And add a little bit more cornball to it, where raise the fifth. My notes are C, E, G sharp, B flat. That really has a sense of expectation. In fact, that chord was a big chord in when Boogie Woogie was the hot style. And I'm thinking right away of a tune by Meade Lux Lewis called the Honky Tonk Train Blues. It's in the key of G, so it starts on the 5/7, and that has so D7, D, F sharp, A, C, and then we'll augment that like he suggests, and we'll put A sharp on there, so D, F sharp, A sharp, C, so he goes. So that was Honky Tonk Train Blues, the introduction to that. Alright, now another thing to do is simply play the last few measures, and this can be on any tune. I'm using Happy Birthday as a platform here. Now 5/7, we can get corny with it. Let's go ahead and augment it. Happy birthday. Yeah, so you see how that works. So those are all really corny. Let me show you a couple more sophisticated ways to do an introduction. One of them is to take one or two measures just melodically that are pickup notes. They aren't really part of the tune, and they aren't really anything more than just a lead-in. So what I did there is I ran a pentatonic scale, C, D, E, G, and A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that. So I'm getting the grooves started first. 1, 2, 3. Just a few pickup notes on the pentatonic scale. Here's a 2-measure one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. It doesn't even have to be pentatonic. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I just ran a C major scale starting on C. What did I start on? G. Just a bunch of notes that are in the key and wind it down. That's just one way to do it. Some people make an art of it. I'm thinking of Duke Ellington's In a Sentimental Mood. So those pickup notes, as you know, are all by themselves. They have no music. No chords, and then the chord comes in. Beautiful. What a wonderful beginning to a tune. Here's another thing. Play a characteristic part of the melody unaccompanied. Just a little piece of the melody. It's a similar idea, but it's a little piece of the melody. Like that, especially if it's a little hook, a little part of the tune that is catchy. There's in a lot of pop songs. So we've been looking at two ideas about using the melody as an introduction. Here's another one. Start with a repetitive bass line. If the tune has a repetitive bass line, just play it. So one of the things I thought about this morning was My Girl. There's the whole tune is set up. Now the melody comes in. Okay, another one that came to mind, Stevie Wonder often does this. I'm thinking of I Wish, has that famous bass line. Let's do that with a fun sound that would be more characteristic of a clavinet that he liked to play. Let's see. So just bass line, and then the tune comes in. Another one that comes to mind is his Superstition, same key. Let's see. those kinds of starting with the bass line. If the tune has a you know, characteristic bass line, then put them, you know, then play that. The other thing you can do is play the bass line and the chords together if it's really characteristic. Here's a tune that uses, you know, that has that characteristic bass line and a characteristic chord progression. So look how this introduction sets the whole tune up. Everybody knows this famous pop song. Of course, the trick is to put the melody on top of that. It's kind of a fun one to play. So the point is, we can extract the creative concept rather than just thinking about the repertory. So instead of thinking about here's a tune, what's going on there? It's the characteristic bass line and the characteristic chord progression. Let's here's another idea. Let's you can vamp on the main chord progression just before the melody. So Over the Rainbow. Straight out of the bridge, and the tune starts. So those chords were just lifted straight out of the bridge. It was just a little piece of the chord progression of the tune, and we just vamped on those chords. Another one that I love for ballads is to noodle around really slowly on the melody, either for all the melody or just a little portion of it that has no time. And the trick to doing that is, before you then kick into the way you are going to feel the tune, the groove you're going to be playing it in, you want to take that last few measures of noodling around and set up your groove. So we're going to take a very mellow, loose, out-of-time approach to Summertime. Just running chords and modes. Notice there's no time. So I have all this opportunity to make mood. This is also a way to play when somebody's trying to talk your head off while you're playing a gig somewhere, telling you about, yeah, my aunt used to play by ear. You know, is that right? Yeah. Because the management doesn't want you to stop playing the piano, and if you can't really groove when someone's talking to you, where does your aunt live? Is the abstract concept here is that I'm noodling around on the exact tune and the exact chords as the tune, but there's no time. Now I'm getting down to the end, so I need to think about my groove and set that up. There it is. So again, let's kick it out of the end here. It's wide open time. And I'm looking up because I'm looking for the groove I want. Do, 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 do. So the other thing is just to compose an independent intro in the style of the tune. So, you know, just to write an intro. These are harder to just toss off. And I'm about to publish an old piece of mine that is available only in a collection, and it's kind of popular, so I'm going to make it independent here in the next, I don't know, a couple weeks. And I didn't even pull it out for that reason. I pulled it out because the introduction is characteristic, in that it's composed. So the melody goes like this, starts really simply. Simple, effective. So given the simplicity of that opening idea, I wanted to set it up. And so I wrote a little flowerier introduction, a little more notey one, almost a hint to the listener to say, this may start simple, but it's going to grow. The easiest introduction in the world is to simply play the 5/7 chord. You can toss a augmented fifth on that for more tension, more fun. You can play hand over hand, 5 chords. Another great one is to play the last few measures of a tune. That works great for hymn singing or folk songs. I mean, like, you know, You Are My Sunshine, those sort of campfire songs is what I mean. And then we just hit a whole series here. I'll just hit them again. Start with 1 or 2 measures, just melodic pickup notes, just the melody, just melody notes, not even the melody, just the right hand alone. Play a part of the melody unaccompanied, just a little piece of the melody with no chords. Play any repetitive bass lines that a tune may have before the tune comes in, like the Stevie Wonder or My Girl. Oh, I forgot one. If the tune has a turnaround in it, yeah, let me hit that. You can vamp on those chords. So a turnaround, there are various turnarounds. One of the most common ones is 1-6-2-5. So in the key of C, C roots, C, A, D, G. So we could just, let's see. Here's my C, A7, A7, G, C, A7, A, G, and C, da, ba, do, da. That's not the usual introduction to A-Train, but actually that just calls to mind another composed introduction. Until next time, enjoy your creative music-making journey.